Hello guys and welcome to another MK Mobile character review, today featuring Kobu Jutsu Tanya. As usual guys, please note the date when this video has been recorded because a lot of things may have changed since then, and if you're not aware of the matrix I'm using in order to evaluate characters, you can find it on the top right corner of the screen. So without any further ado, let's put Kobu Jutsu Tanya to the test. Kobu Jutsu Tanya guys was released quite a long time ago, so I'm curious to see how her stats will do compared to the current standards. Her attack is 52,164, which is the 20th highest in MK Mobile and the 5th among the gold characters. The hit points, they are 88,320, which is the 35th highest in the game and the 16th among the gold characters. The toughness, it is 37,800, which is the 28th highest overall and the 10th highest in the gold league, and the recovery is 41,580, which is the 20th highest in the game and the 5th among the gold characters. The power generation is 100%, so I would say she's doing pretty good considering that she was released a long time ago and her stats are kind of outdated. So for her stats she gets 17.1 out of 28 points. Special one of Tanya guys is called Tonfa Strike. What you need to know about this ability is that first, it can be completely blocked by the opponent. It doesn't have any buff or debuff, unfortunately. It can be cast from distance, however you have to keep in mind that the first mini attacks will miss, so I roughly calculated that around 30% of the damage will be lost, so I will be deducting some points here. Also, special one of Tanya is little and it consists of 7 mini attacks. And one more thing guys, from today's episode we are implementing a new property that should be evaluated when it comes to special 1 and special 2, and it is the minigame. Every character can get up to 1 point for special 1 minigame and 1 point for special 2 minigame. I didn't want to put any more points on that because it is kind of subjective, even though I believe you will agree with me that, for example, a single circle minigame is much better than the diagonal swipe, for example, or the bubbles. They're much harder, so in a way, if you have an easier minigame, it is easier for you to score 100% on your special attack. So, in our current case, Kobu Jutsu Tanya has what I call the single tap circle minigame, and it is one of the good minigames in my humble opinion. When it comes to damage, the minimum damage of Kobu Jutsu Tanya Special 1 is 17,214, the 27th highest in the game and the 9th among the gold characters. The maximum damage is 34,428, the 29th highest in MK Mobile and the 17th among the gold characters. So let's repeat the properties of her Special 1 once again. The ability can be completely blocked by the opponent, it has no buff or debuff, it can be cast from distance, however the first few mini hits will miss. It is little, it consists of 7 mini hits, and it has the single tap circle as a minigame. And now another thing I'm going to do for first time, and I'm going to explain to you why later in the video, I'm going to give her back all points she lost due to the numerous mini attacks of her special 1. So instead of the originally intended 0.4, I'm going to give her 1 point for her mini attacks, so that in total she gets 6.4 out of 13 for her special 1. Special 2 of Tanya guys is called Spinning Stab, and this is the bread and butter of the character. Unfortunately this ability can be completely blocked by the opponent and it has one of the worst debuffs in the game, Fear. It can be cast from distance, however again some of the mini attacks will miss from short and medium distance, and if you are casting it from long distance, almost the entire ability will miss. As you can see now, only a few hits connect, and if I try to cast it from even further distance, only 2 hits will ever connect, which is unfortunate. Special 2 of Tanya is little, and it consists of 8 mini attacks. And of course, in this situation, the minigame is the single tap rectangle. The minimum damage of Special 2 of Tanya is 43,035, the 27th highest overall and the 9th highest in the Gold League. The maximum damage is 86,070, the 26th highest in MK Mobile and the 7th among the Gold characters. Once again, let's go through the properties of her Special 2. It can be completely blocked by the opponent. It has Fear as main debuff, which is unfortunate. It can be cast from distance, however, some of the mini hits will miss, so I'll be deducting some points here. It is lethal. It consists of 8 mini attacks. However, like her special one, I'm going to restore all the points she lost because of the numerous mini hits on her special 2, and I'm going to explain to you why I'm doing it in the passive section of the video. So for her special 2, Kobu Jutsu Tanya gets 10.2 out of 19 possible points. Up and Over, this is the name of Kobu Jutsu Tanya's X-Ray. Basically, for less than 10 seconds she breaks the neck of the opponent 3 times, which looks quite painful to watch. Also, the ability has Cripple as main debuff, which is very good because more or less you can cripple the entire enemy team. And it can be cast from distance, so you shouldn't be afraid of casting her X-Ray if you're not really close to the opponent. When it comes to damage, the damage of her X-Ray is 103,284, the 34th highest in MK Mobile and the 11th in the Gold League. Once again, her X-Ray has Cripple as main debuff and it can be cast from distance, so she gets 3.7 out of 4 possible points. And in total, for her special attacks, she gets 20.3 out of 36 possible points. Kobu Jutsu Tanya, guys, is neither the slowest nor the fastest character in the game. Now granted, the speed of her basic attacks is slightly above average in my opinion, so I'll be giving 3.5 points for her basic attack speeds, and when it comes to the chaining of her basic attacks, she performs average there as well. Again, she doesn't push the opponents when they're blocking, and if they're not blocking and she performs a combo ender, she actually slams them to the ground. However, the good part here is that she manages to put her blades back on her waist before the opposing character is ready to counterattack. So in a nutshell, I would say that she has pretty average chaining. So I'm giving her 3 points for chaining for the total of 6.5 out of 10 possible points for her basic attacks. Flurry of Blows, this is the name of Kobu Jutsu Tanya's passive. Basically, it is divided in 2 parts. The first part is that 3 times in a game, her special to deals 25% damage to the entire enemy team and it breaks shields. And the second part of her passive is that she has 25% chance for lethal blows in faction wars, which is plus 300% damage. So let's start with the first part of her passive. Now, I fully admit that it is always good to damage the entire enemy team while performing some special attacks or even basic attacks. However, there's 2 things I dislike about the first part of her passive. The first thing is that everything Tanya does when it comes to damaging the entire enemy team, Heavy Weapon Jax just does it better. I'm sorry. He also breaks shields, he also damages the entire enemy team, but I do believe that he does it much better. Simply based on my observations, the damage that Jax deals is much higher. And third, Jax doesn't have any limitations on how many times he can damage the entire enemy team. So this is my first thing which I don't like about first part of her passive. And the second thing is that after update 2.0, breaking shields is no longer a big deal. I mean, unless you are facing a Cold War team, all other teams, including Cold War Sonya, all you have to do is just wait 5 or 6 seconds and then you are good to go. So I'm sorry, but breaking shields used to be a big deal before Sonya's rework, but after Cold War Sonya got promoted to Diamond and in the process she got nerfed, now breaking shields is simply not a big deal. And we got to the second part of her passive, which I really love, And this is the part of her passive which made me reinstate the points she was about to lose because of the numerous mini hits on her special attacks. You know, back in the days when I was setting up the matrix for evaluation characters, I admitted that in most of the cases you really want to deal the entire damage on only one mini hit. Reason being, the more mini hits you do, the bigger are the chances of your opponent to get Revenant or Bone Shield. However, there are certain situations in which having many mini hits on your special attack is beneficial. And quite honestly, Kobu Jutsu Tanya is an embodiment of those cases. She has 25% chance of lethal blows. She has 7 mini hits on special 1 and 8 mini hits on special 2. So you can imagine how easy it is for at least one of those mini attacks to deal lethal damage. Sometimes I even got 4 or even 5, and that's huge damage. You can literally one-shot fully maxed gold character with special 1 only, even if they're blocking actually. And that's another huge thing when it comes to Kobu Jutsu Tanya's passive. If you give her Molot's bow and chain, or if you give her item, she'll get around 30% unblockable chance on all special attacks, which is huge. Once again, she has 7 mini hits on special 1 and 8 mini hits on special 2. That means that it is almost guaranteed that you are going to break the opponent's block. Every single one of those mini hits has 30% chance to break the opponent's block. So sooner or later the block is going to fail, and you're going to deal the rest of the damage of the special attack without any issues with the opponent blocking. So I believe you understand now that it would have been extremely unfair if I'd taken away the points from Tanya because she has a lot of mini hits on her special attacks. In her case, this is really beneficial, and she's one of those rare cases where you can actually understand why the character is designed like this. Because first, it is extremely easy to break the block of the opponent, and second, the more hits you have, the better chances you have of dealing lethal blow to the opponent. So for her passive, I'm giving her 16.5 out of 20. Tanya is an outworld and a martial artist, so she gets 2 points for classes and 0 points for tagging attack. Okay guys, we got to the section where we decide whether the character is good or not based on the score. Quite honestly, Kobu Jutsu Tanya is a very good character. She has pretty good stats, good damage on special 1 and special 2, very nice passive. I would say her only drawback is that she doesn't really have any buff or debuff on her special 1, and that of course her special 2 has a very disappointing debuff, even though at some situations, especially in her case, it can be beneficial. So quite frankly, I didn't really like that character that much before I started doing the review, but then in the process, her battle after her battle after her battle, I really discovered her great strengths, and suddenly I realized that I actually love this character, that she's extremely fun to play, that she's so versatile in terms of teams. You can build tens of extremely good teams around her. So basically, she really doesn't have any weaknesses. Probably the only weakness she has is that she doesn't have any defensive abilities. So if she gets hit by a very powerful special 2 and you don't block it, she'll most probably die. And probably this is the only weakness she has. So I'll be giving her 3 out of 3 of my entirely subjective points. So Kobu Jutsu Tanya, guys, scored 65.4. So we can definitely label her as a good character. Final verdict, good character. Alright guys, we got to the gameplay section. Now, because of her passive, again, it is really hard for me to say which of the characters that Kobu Jutsu Tanya counters. However, I played so many hard battles with her, and I definitely distinguished 3 characters which are somehow hard for her to deal with. The first one is MK11 Jade, very hard matchup for obvious reasons, that she can retaliate and then use her special attack on me. Another hard matchup is the Triborg Sub-Zero, extremely hard, guys. You should avoid getting frostbitten with this Tanya. Once you get frostbitten, it's like a death sentence for you. And the third very hard matchup is Pankasi again. Every time when she tags in, she's going to steal a bar of power from you and she's going to make you slow. And if you get slowed, again, it is kind of a death sentence. So let's proceed with the items. For the items, guys, it all depends on whether you use Kobu Jutsu Tanya in an X-ray team or whether you use her in a team which is not about the X-rays. Because she's a dual class, it's very easy to build an X-ray team around her. And if this is the case, then in my opinion, the best items that you should equip her, should you use her in the X-ray teams, are first, as a weapon, you have to give her Rat Hammer or Bloody Tomahawk. Whatever you have, I would advise to go for the Rat Hammer if you have them both. As an armor, you can equip her with Shao Kahn's helmet, and when it comes to the accessory, I always give her Shansung Stone. If you're using Tanya outside of a X-ray team, guys, then when it comes to the weapons, there are two weapons that I usually use on her if I'm not doing X-ray team. The first one is Moloch's Bow and Chain, for the reason that first, it increases the lethal blow chance. Second, it gives you 30% unblockable chance on your special attacks, which is huge for Tanya. And third, it gives you chance for special 2 being used for free. This is by far the best item you can equip to Tanya. If you don't have this item max, or if you don't have it at all, then I would advise you to give her her item, which is still very useful in Tanya. It gives, again, unblockable chance on special attacks, it gives damage, it gives basic attack damage boost and the chance to heal on special 1. When it comes to the armor, again, I would advise you to equip her with Shao Kahn's helmet if Tanya is not in an X-ray team. And when it comes to the accessory, I usually give her either Bloody Voodoo Doll or Shansung Stone or Soul Medallion. Now, if you want to center your strategy on spamming special 1, that's perfectly fine, guys. Her special 1 is amazing. You can literally clear hard battle without any issues, without ever using special 2. Trust me. So if you want to do that, then you have to go for the setup that includes Kobu Jutsu Blades as your weapon, then again Shao Kahn's helmet, and either Bloody Voodoo Doll or Shansung Stone. Those two items are pretty good if you want to spam special 1. If your main strategy revolves around her special 2, then I would advise you to go for Moloch's Bow and Chain, and of course Soul Medallion, or if you don't have Soul Medallion max, again Shansung Stone will do the job. Alright, so let's go to the best teams. Now, because Tanya is dual class character, you can build tons of good teams around her. First thing first, you can build a lot of X-ray teams using Hellspawn, Scorpion, Kunjin, and by the way, a very popular and viable team including Tanya is with Mournful Kitana herself and Classic Melina. However, there's one thing I need to warn you about this team. It is a really good team. However, the opposition you're going to face will be very tough, especially if you have those 3 girls maxed. As you know, Classic Melina has sky high stats and she is like a magnet for diamond teams. I played 2 hard battles with this team, and at some point I realized that I was facing only maxed out diamond teams, nothing else but maxed out diamond teams. And you can see on the screen so many different 2+1 teams that you can build using Tanya. You can build a 60% attack damage boost using Ninjutsu Scorpion and Sun God Kotokan. You can use, for example, Cyrax Triborg. You can use a lot of characters with Tanya and she will be very, very viable. My only advice is going to be focused on characters that boost her attacking skills, not with characters that boost her defensive skills. For example, if you team her with Treacherous Tanya so that she can get less power drained by the opponents, it really doesn't feel that good. I really prefer to pair her with characters that boost her attacking stats and the damage of her special or basic attacks. Okay guys, Kobu Jutsu Tanya, what do you think of her? Do you like her? Do you dislike her? Please let me know in the comments. And as usual, if you want to see more reviews, you can find the playlist on the top right corner of the screen. Once again, Kobu Jutsu Tanya scored 65.4 points and we labeled her as a good character. See you in the next video, guys. Take care.
Do not touch me again.
Well done.
Perfect!